Hello, welcome to my kitchen. This is the Student Witch, and I have my sexy cameraman. He's looking at me like, what are you doing? My husband's helping me out as the cameraman. And this is how I bake chicken, and it's the most delicious chicken ever. So, materials and ingredients. Big ass pot. Because the first thing we're going to do is brine the chicken overnight. Chicken. And I'll go into detail about the chicken in a second. And sea salt. Repeat with me. Not table salt, sea salt. Not table salt, sea salt. Okay, we have our mantra. This chicken is the hippy dippy chicken. Free range. It was respected in life, it was happy, and now we're going to eat its happiness. So, you can thank the chicken however you wish, bless it, incorporate your witchery into your cooking. So yeah, to brine it, we're going to take it and get our hands a little messy. This is a... Drain out all the yummy juices that come out of it once you defrost it. Put it in the water, breast down, so that we make sure the breast is completely submerged. And this chicken also came with the neck. You can save this to make bone broth later, or you can cook it because the meat on the neck is good. I'm going to go ahead and cook it with the rest of the chicken and then put it in my chicken noodle soup when I boil the bones down to make chicken noodle soup. And I'll make a video about that too. So, we have a gallon of water in here, a big ass chicken, and the chicken neck. I'm going to wash my hands. Hands are clean. Drink some wine. Now, the sea salt. From what I've read, and from my experience, in general, for every gallon of water, when you're brining a chicken, for every gallon of water, you want about 3/4 of a cup of sea salt. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to guesstimate based on this 1 cup measuring cup. And I might add a little bit more because it is such a big chicken. I think it's almost 6 pounds. We treated ourselves to a big one. Maybe a little bit more. Alright.
Can I see it?
Yes. That's the salt. Salt goes in. Rinse this out. Now, take a spoon. I prefer a plastic spoon because using wooden spoons with raw meat freaks me out. And just make sure the salt is mostly dissolved. This is a super simple brine recipe. I know some people like to add sugar and other spices. I just leave it at salt and water. Because at this point, I'm not looking to infuse any flavor into the chicken. I just want to make sure the chicken remains moist when I bake it in the oven, which will happen tomorrow for lunch. And that's it. I just put the lid on and stick it in the fridge. So, leave it in there for 8 to 12 hours overnight, and you have yourself a brined, delicious chicken ready to cook the next day. That's it. So, see you on the other side. Can you guys see me? Sorry I have the camera pointed away from my face. I just want to show you guys what I'm doing to flavor and prepare this chicken. So, welcome to day 2 of my most delicious, most epic baked chicken in the world video. So we had this guy brining overnight. So what we're going to do we're going to take 3 paper towels and dry the chicken off. I don't rinse the chicken. I don't rinse the brine off the chicken. I feel like that's just rinsing flavor away. So I just reach on in there, let it drip dry for a few seconds, take the paper towels, dry it off, put it in the pan. Let's do this. I'm gonna reach into the icky chicken water. Make sure you have clean hands. Ooh, it's cold. And I'm just gonna let it drip dry. Ooh. For a few seconds. I like to kind of just grab it back here by the wings, although it's missing a wing. We got gypped from a wing. That's okay. Take the first paper towel, kind of dry the top of it, the front part of it. Put that in the garbage that I have over there. Second paper towel to dry the back and the bottom of it. Try not to drip any gross chicken juice anywhere. Salmonella is not our friend. Throw that away. And then do the rest of the back. And the reason I'm drying it out is because when I season it, I'm first going to cover it in olive oil. And if it's wet, you know, water doesn't mix well with oil, right? So if it's wet, that's just going to prove to be counterproductive. Okay, it's mostly dry. Ugh, or it's dry enough. Most of the skin and fat on top of the breast is missing. I guess that just happened when they were processing the chicken. Oh! And the neck. Nummy, nummy. I'm just going to put the neck in here at the top of the pan. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands. Alright, my hands are clean. So, what I try to do is I take all my spices and my oil, and I take the lid off of each one of them so that they can just be handy. I just grab it, use it, and go. So I can keep one hand clean and one hand dirty touching the chicken. So let me take all the lids off and get all the spices ready before I show you what exactly I'm going to use. First, I coat the chicken in olive oil. This is just olive oil from Trader Joe's. I love olive oil. It's my favorite oil to cook with. It's the only oil we cook with, actually. So with my right hand, I'm just going to pour this liberally all over the chicken. And with my left hand, I'm just going to massage it in. Getting it nice and lubed up. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. Pour some more on there. There you go. That's good. Alright, the first spice that I use, actually the only spice besides black pepper, is cumin. I love cumin. I put it at least a little bit in practically everything that I cook. And I just feel like it adds a nice, like, warm flavor. You have to be careful with cumin not to use too much, especially if you're not used to it, if you don't normally cook with it, because it can become kind of, it can add a little bit of heat to what you're cooking. So just judge how much you want. And you know how the breast is exposed because for some reason this chicken, the skin was, I don't know if you guys can see, but the skin was like taken off, I guess, while they were processing the chicken. Come to think of it, instead of taking some of the fat and skin off the back, I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is because honestly, my husband and I, we're dark meat people anyway. So the breast meat is usually used when we make the soup. And once you use meat in soup, you don't really have to worry about keeping it that moist because it's in a soup, it's in a liquid anyway. So the sprinkling and kind of evenly rubbing it in, getting down and dirty with the chicken. Massaging it in. There you go. The second spice or herb that I use is actually spice and herb mix. I love this stuff. This is Trader Joe's 21 seasoning salute. It literally has 21 seasonings. It has onion, black pepper, celery seed, cayenne pepper, parsley, basil, marjoram, bay leaf, oregano, thyme, savory, rosemary, cumin, mustard, coriander, garlic, carrot, orange peel, tomato granules, lemon juice powder, and oil of lemon. And it smells amazing. So, and again, a little bit of this goes a long way, like the cumin. So I'm going to start in the back. And then I'm going to flip her over. And just make sure the legs get a little bit. The breast meat. The one wing. And even the neck. Okay. Then, flip them back over. This is just an Italian herb mix. So this has oregano, marjoram, thyme, rosemary, and sage just because I love using dried herbs. I season my food a lot. I try to control the amount of salt intake we have, but as far as herbs and spices go, I kind of go all out. So just some dried herbs all over that bad boy. Get down in the crevices and whatnot. Massage it in. Okay. Now, that's done. And the last one that I add is just cracked black pepper. So, but for that one, I have to use both my hands, so I need to wash this hand now. Oh, before I do, in this bowl I have the vegetables that are going to accompany the chicken. I just roughly chopped 1 potato, 1 celery, one celery stick, 1 carrot, 1 onion, and then I have just a little wedge of onion here. This I'm going to shove up in there to make sure it's flavored from the inside. I also had 1 big clove of garlic that I chopped. I just peeled it and cut it in 2. So that is going to go inside the chicken. And I can even use the herbs and spices that are on my dirty hand. I can kind of rub them inside the chicken too, just to make sure all of that is flavored. And there we go. So now I'm going to wash this hand before I put the rest of the vegetables in and around. Well, actually, I might do that now because I might have to, this chicken is so big, I might have to kind of push it around to make sure everything fits. Oops, and I'm dropping some, of course. And I add these vegetables because I like to eat my chicken with rice. And you can eat it with mashed potatoes or however you want. But I like to mix the vegetables in with rice, and plus these vegetables add extra flavor when we cook it. This is a big ass chicken. Okay. Okay, washing hands again. Okay, so this is what we got going on here. Now the black pepper, now that I can use both my hands to grind it. Just use as much as you like. Put some black pepper on the veggies too. There we go. And I like to just kind of sprinkle a little bit of the Trader Joe's 21 seasoning on the veggies and a little bit of the herbs on the veggies. that are surrounding the chicken. Okay, I'm gonna add a few sprinkles of this pink Himalayan salt around the chicken. I know we brined the chicken, but just in case, because I've done this before and I had undersalted chicken before. So just to make sure the veggies around the chicken get salt, because what I'm going to do, I think that's enough. Okay. Now, so I'm going to take filtered water and I'm going to fill the pan with water, just 1 or 2 inches of water, or until the vegetables are fully covered with water. Now what this water is going to do, it's not only going to help the chicken stay moist, because once we put the lid on the pan, all that liquid is just going to kind of evaporate and then fall back down into the chicken, so that keeps it moist. But it also absorbs the flavor of the vegetables and the flavor of the chicken, and you can save those juices. You can save those juices to either pour it over rice when you eat your chicken and rice or mashed potatoes or whatever, and you can save those juices as part of your stock when you make the chicken noodle soup. We have the chicken in the pot, nice and seasoned. You see the amount of water I put in there, 1 or 2 inches. We have our veggies floating around. Right? So now it's time to put the lid on. If I can do that. And then I'm going to bake it at 375 degrees. Because my general rule is for a 4-pound chicken, I'll cook it for 1 hour and 20 minutes. And every pound above 4 pounds, I add an extra 20 minutes. So this is a 6-pound chicken, so that comes out to be about 2 hours. That seems like a long time at a fairly high heat, but because we brined it overnight and because it's in water, it's not going to over dry. It's not going to dry out, I promise. So let me get this in the oven and then I'll show you guys how it turns out. Yay! Bye! Alright, this is the end product. I'm so hungry, I'm going to eat the entire leg and thigh. And I cooked up some brown rice, and there are the veggies that I poured over the rice with some of the juices and drippings from the chicken. And I'm going to eat it with a fresh tomato, corn, and cilantro salad tossed with some olive oil and salt. There you go. Let me know how this recipe turns out for you guys. Alright, many blessings. Bye.